is going on, guys? I am back again. Yes, just like Drake, I'm going back with the podcast. This is episode 4. I told you I was gonna give you a two-parter, so here it is. I will be covering 2 days games for you. So, starting it off, we are gonna discuss the first matchup that is actually what's going on my screen right now. It is the fourth quarter. In what is a tight game between the Lakers and the Grizzlies. So with that being said, we will kick it off with that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it is currently a 1-point ball game between the Lakers and the Grizzlies. Lakers with the 1-point advantage with just about 7 minutes left to go in this game 1 of what I imagine to be a 7-game series between these two. I think they're going to go the full length. But we'll break it down. This game has been led by LeBron on the Lakers side. That's no new storyline there. You see Ja Morant has still keeping his team afloat here throughout the season. Both of them have been the absolute go-tos for their teams, respectively. You have them both, Memphis being led to the 3 seed. You have correct me, I am wrong. The Grizzlies are the 2 seed, with the Lakers taking that 7 seed in the play-in tournament, taking that first game, not having to play a second. So still kind of fresh in there. They will take on the Grizzlies. First 2 games set to be played in Memphis, as we know. But LeBron has just led the way. He is King James. He is always going to be the greatest, at least of this generation, averaging 28.9 points to 8.3 rebounds and 6.8 assists per game. He is, I believe, 4 blocks now in this game alone. But the NBA's all-time leading scorer is showing why he is absolutely him. This is a matchup that in the regular season was led by the Lakers 2-1, with the Lakers taking both wins at home and by very close games. The Memphis Grizzlies' only victory came in I would call it a blowout victory over the Lakers, but that also came at home. So I believe home court advantage is going to be pivotal for this series here. But you got D'Angelo Russell, who is a great role player and complement to LeBron, getting it done with 17.4 points a game and a 6.1 assist per game average. He is more than on his way, I believe, to that in this game alone. If not, he is getting there or surpassed it. But we saw Anthony Davis earlier in this game go down. He has since returned, but he is showing why he has that glass body reputation. It's terrible to see. The Lakers are definitely going to need him in this series, as he is more than helping LeBron, and he is actually having an MVP type of season aside from all the injuries he's had. That's kind of put dents here and there in as far as his time played, but he's got 25.9 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks he is averaging. He's also shooting 56%. So that is definitely something that is going to be needed on LeBron's side as a compliment, because the man cannot do it all, even though he has shown that sometimes he can. But Ja Morant, on the other hand, is averaging 26.2 to 5.9 rebounds and 8 assists with 1.1 steals per game. That is important because actually 5 players on the Memphis Grizzlies team are averaging 1 or more steals a game. That is absolutely ridiculous in terms of stats, and turnovers will be crucial. So the Lakers are going to need to learn how to get a handle on the ball. But it's not just the Ja Morant show over there. You also have guys like Desmond Bane, who are going 21.5 points a game with a steal. You have Dylan Brooks on the defensive side as well as the offensive side, going 14.3 points a game and almost 1 steal per game average. Jaren Jackson, though, has been the absolute Bonnie to Ja Morant's Clyde. I would say it is a terrible reference, but Triple J is definitely doing what he is supposed to, going 18.6 points a game, a steal, and 3 blocks, and shooting 51% field goal. So the guy is ridiculous. He is an absolute shooter. He is a defender. He will absolutely get on you, and you cannot let that man get hot. You cannot let this Memphis Grizzlies team get hot, because they have shown signs of promise. They are a young team. They have more than enough and more than a lot to prove. So should be interesting how this series shapes out. How I feel this is gonna turn out. I believe the Lakers. I know they are the seventh seed, but I believe LeBron is just him, and we cannot deny his greatness no matter what side of the debate you land on. LeBron's reputation, LeBron's statistics will tell you that the first round is absolutely nothing for him, no matter what seed he is. But I would like to see LeBron go past this first round. I have the Lakers taking the Grizzlies in 7 games, as I mentioned before. So who comes out of this one is going to be pretty important, how the rest of the series goes. But if the Lakers can pull this one out on the road, they will definitely have that edge going into their home floor with either a 2-0 advantage or even a 1-1. It'll be a completely new series going into Los Angeles, but it should be interesting to wait to see that this one shapes out. But at the end of the day, I will never bet against two men in my life. That will be LeBron James, and the other one will be Tom Brady. But till the NFL season, you will not hear another word from me about him. For very obvious reasons, I'm going to skip over the next game that's supposed to be following this Lakers one, which they currently just defeated the Grizzlies. So the Lakers with a 1-0 run in this playoffs to start. So that's the end of that. But I will skip over the next game to go to the one after, which will be the 8 p.m. game. That is the number 4 seeded Suns taking on the 5 seeded Clippers from the Western Conference. This is going to be another one of those evenly matched games, as both teams have averaged the same amount of points per game with 113.6. That is absolutely ridiculous. That means that neither has the offensive edge, in my opinion, but it'll take that one special player each and every game, I think, in this series to pull it out. Both teams have those kinds of players on each side, so it's going to be interesting to see which stars show out here. So first game is going to be played in Phoenix. We will start with them. No stranger to the playoffs or winning championships, KD himself. Yes, it seems that the Suns cannot lose when he is on the court. This is an unprecedented run that they were on with him on the court. With him off the court, we see how different it can be. But Durant's averaging 26 points per game on a 57% field goal shooting. That is ridiculous. He's got 54% shooting from the 3-point line. Again, this is a testament to the ridiculous kind of player that Kevin Durant is. He is a machine. In my opinion, he is probably the second best player in the league right now behind Braun. So a talent that we don't see very often, averaging also 1.2 blocks per game from a small forward. That's pretty impressive. But he does have help in the form of 2 All-Stars in Devin Booker and Chris Paul, that is, CP3. Devin Booker with 27.8 points per game and 5.5 assists to go with 1 steal per game. Chris Paul, on the other hand, got 13.9 points a game to 8.9 assists to 1.5 steals a game. So they can both turn it over on you, and they can both shoot lights out. They can both rebound. Chris Paul is the absolute quarterback of this team. He will set up the plays. He will give it to Kevin Durant. He will make sure these men are open. So look for them early and often. Chris Paul can do a little bit of scoring too, as we saw. But this game should be fun. The Phoenix Suns are a very fun offensive team. And when they get hot, they absolutely can torch you. So Clippers definitely need to watch out for this. But they do have some high caliber players, and none more than the form of Kawhi Leonard. That was terrible English, I beg your pardon, but the Claw is averaging 23.8 points a game to 6.5 rebounds with 1.4 steals per game on average. The Claw is, as we know, an MVP type of player. He can shoot, he can turn you over. This is a steal machine, but this guy is the leader of the team so long as Paul George is out, which, as we know, he will be, and he will not be rushed according to the head coach. So for game 1, do not expect to see Paul George lace up the boots, not Chris Paul, Paul George lace up those shoes, because he will not be playing in game 1. But the Clippers are going to desperately need him if they make this a series, if they want to put him in game two, I guess they're gonna wait to see how the first couple of ones turn out to see whether or not they turn him loose. But definitely could use his help there, as he's got 23.8 points a game to 1.5 steals. So same kind of player as Kawhi Leonard, but with probably more of an offensive edge. But the guy has also been a great compliment to Kawhi. The two of them on the floor together are undeniably a show. So it is Hollywood. The lights are bright, but in the desert, it's gonna get real hot for them if Paul George can't lace them up. So look for guys like Norman Powell to step in that role. Norman Powell getting 17 points a game. He is gonna be needed. Paul George's points a game, those 23 points got to go somewhere. Who better than to spread them out between him? And you also have Russell Westbrook, who is an all-star in his own right. We have seen a decline in terms of his style of play. He's not averaging a triple-double, but we understand that is not a sustainable thing to do for such a very, very long time, but a testament to the greatness because he has done it. So going 15.8 with 7 assists per game and 1 steal a game, that is still impressive. He is still a leader on that floor. He is a veteran, so look for him to help out Kawhi Leonard in this series. Norman Powell probably taking over on the offense as a help. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this series plays out. In my opinion, I believe the Suns will get hot. They will get hot early, and they will handle business in 6 games. I will say Clippers are gonna get 2 out of them, so I believe Phoenix is gonna get those 4. They're gonna move on to the next round. I would say with ease, but I know that the Clippers can be frustrating at times. So look for Kawhi to absolutely guard Kevin Durant, and that will definitely be problems for leaving guys like Devin Booker and Chris Paul open. So you got to get solid defense on those 3 guys. It's going to be tough. They are going to bring it. They are the home team, so they will have that edge. Like I said, this team, not only the team at home, but the team with Kevin Durant, is a completely different team than without him. So a team at full strength is going to be pretty hard to beat. So I have the Suns moving on in 6 games in this series. Going into the final game being played today, we have the 10:30 matchup between the 1 seed in the Western Conference, those Denver Nuggets, taking on the 8 seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. As we know, first 2 games at Denver, so we're going to talk about them. I know they got that guy over there called the Joker, Nikola Jokic, the absolute machine. Might as well change his name to MVP because he's just going to get him every year because he's just playing like it. It's no bias, but the guy is an absolute unit. He is a freak. He's a playmaker. He's a scorer. He's a defender. He's everything you need, and he is also doing it from the big man position like a unicorn. You got Jokic on the floor, and he's basically unstoppable. 24.5 points a game, 11.8 rebounds per game, 9.8 assists. He is almost averaging a triple double. It is insane. Also averaging 1.3 steals. So the guy's a freak. He's a monster. It is incredible to see what he's doing on the floor and to do it so consistently. It's effortless to see him play on the floor. It's almost like he doesn't want to play sometimes, but he'll still give you 30 on those days. But he has help in the form of Michael Porter Jr. giving you 17.4 points. You also have guys like Aaron Gordon, the non-dunk contest winner, who's got 16.3 points a game, but is shooting 56% field goal percentage. So it's very impressive. So Jokic does have a team behind him, a team that's definitely deep enough to make it to the playoffs. They also have guys like Jamal Murray healthy again. He's got 20 points a game to go with a steal a game and 6.2 assists. The guy is also one of the reasons why this is the 1 seed. Him along with Jokic, the two can just figure each other out. They got that chemistry. But the Nuggets are also first place in the entire league in field goal percentage, averaging 50.4. They are also first in field goal efficiency with 57.3. So ridiculous stats. It seems like every time they shoot, they score. So I would look to see a lot of that in this series. They have in my mind, what is going to be a very soft matchup for them. I am very sorry to say, in the Minnesota Timberwolves, a glorified 8 seed, if you would, but they are led with some talent. Guys like Anthony Davis, the Ant-Man, you cannot give him enough credit for what he's done this season, stepping his offensive game up, besides being a nasty dunker. Edwards is definitely establishing himself as the leader just behind Cat. Edwards has 24.6 points a game to go with 5.8 boards and 1.6 steals. So definitely playing his part, and he is definitely a freak when you need him to be. You got guys like Karl Anthony Towns, who's got 20.8 points a game, 8.1 rebounds per game, the dynamic duo. You have Rudy Gobert, very questionable for his back, but who truly knows? But he could definitely be of use to the Minnesota Timberwolves if they want to win at least one game. He is solid on the defensive end. He's solid as a rebounder, so he can get in that paint and get you the boards that you need. He's also can score a little bit. He's averaging 13, so he can get you points. He can get you some rebounds. He's got 1.4 blocks, so he can deny at the rim. He's he's good, but he does have some issues there, as we know. I'm not going to bring that to the light because we're moving past it. But guys like Jaden McDaniels, unfortunately, are out with a hand injury, but Timberwolves could absolutely use him. He's got 12.1 points a game to go with 1 block and also shooting 52% field goal. So, you got some key pieces there on your team just riding the bench for ridiculous reasons. Whatever reason Gobert is, I believe it's a back issue is what he claims, so I'm going to stick with it. We're going to pretend that it's not what I think it is. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle this, but it's going to be fascinating to see what Minnesota can do with this. You also got guys like Kyle Anderson who are helping out Anthony Towns, giving you 51% field goal shooting and averaging 1.1 steals. So guys like Mike Conley, you got the veteran with 14 points a game, 5 assists and 1.2 steals. So they can turn it on you. They can play the defense, they can play the offense, but I think at the end of the day, when you ask me how this series is going to shape up, too much offense on the Nuggets side, too many big bodies, too many stars to cover, and Minnesota just doesn't have it in them. I'll give it a 5-game series. I think Minnesota can pull off one, I would say, very tight win, but look for the Nuggets to just dominate in this series, in my opinion. The game's set to tip off at 10:30, so my prediction on this one, Nuggets 5-game series. Joker will definitely be a factor. The final game I am going to talk about is the game that is happening right now on my TV screen. Yes, as you may have guessed, it is the number 8 seeded Miami Heat taking on the 1st seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the two are no strangers to each other, whether it's in the playoffs or the regular season. This was a series that was happening the year that the Bucks claimed their playoff victory, their finals victory. They got the trophy. It happened to come at the expense of the Miami Heat. I believe it was a first-round matchup, but they got the better of them. The Heat got the better of them before that, so we'll see. This is kind of the rubber match, but even in the regular season, the teams went 2-2. Both the Heat and the Bucks won their home games, so home court advantage will probably be a determining factor in this, obviously, but we will start by talking about the Bucks first. I will leave the best for last. We start with the captain of that team, Giannis, who in this game actually went down with an injury. Whether or not he returns is to be seen, but if he is out for an extended time, he will definitely be missed. His stats will speak for themselves. He's got 31.1 points per game to go with 11.8 rebounds and 5.7 assists. So you got to find a way to spread those points out between the rest of your players. How they do it, where they do it, and what time they do it is going to be something that is going to have to be drawn up by coach. But, those rebounds, you cannot replace that. The assists, you cannot truly replace that. The kind of player he is, you cannot replace him. He is somebody who can score on you and you know exactly where he's going. He's going to get those points just in front of the rim. So it's tough. It's a bitter pill to swallow if you're Milwaukee. it's going to be hard. And I'm pretty sure they are realizing this, as I believe they are currently down to the Miami Heat at this moment. But expect guys like Drew Holiday to step in and fill that role. He's got 19.3 points per game to go with 7.4 assists and 1.2 steals. So he's also a defensive cog. He's good when you need him to be. He's pretty much good all the time. He's a consistent player. He's got to be the guy now. But he does have help. Guys like Bobby Portis, who got 14.1 points per game on the year with 9.6 boards. He also shot 50%. That is his field goal percentage. That is ridiculous coming from a big man, as we automatically assume that big man can't shoot. But, this team is disproving that. And guys like Brook Lopez, are the reason. 15.9 points to go with 2.5 blocks. Whether it's offense, whether it's defense, Brook Lopez is definitely needed by the Milwaukee Bucks desperately. He's also a consistent shooter as well. He's got a 53% field goal percentage. So both big men can spread the floor for you, and they can provide that spark when you need them to. So I cannot count the Bucks out of it just because one man went down. So it is going to be interesting to see how the rest of this shapes up. But the Milwaukee Bucks are first place in the NBA in terms of rebounds, as they average 48.6 rebounds per game. They were also fourth in terms of three-point field goals, as they average 14.8. So it's a lot of numbers you got to get in. Yeah, it's a lot you got to defend. It's a lot you have to score on. So we'll see how the Miami Heat want to attack this. And speaking of which, we're going to jump right into them. My boys, the Miami Heat, I have stuck with them through and through. This team has been a headache all year for me. They've showed signs of promise. They've showed signs of where I completely doubted them, didn't even have them in the playoffs, but I always wanted it, and here we are. They somehow managed to find their way to the 8th seed. They meet the Milwaukee Bucks. As it stands now, they hold a 9-point lead, actually. So that can be done by none other than Jimmy Butler. He is the captain. He is the guy. He was passed the torch by Dwayne Wade, essentially, and he has taken it and run with it. He has lit the Heat on fire. I get it, pun intended. The guy's got 22.9 points per game in the regular season with 5.9 rebounds and 5.3 assists. He also had 1.8 steals. So defensively, he is essentially our Drew Holiday, but in my opinion, a lot better from a different position. The guy is he is Jimmy Butler for a reason to me and to basically everybody in Miami. The guy in the playoffs is a completely different monster. It is tough to stop him. When he gets going, he just gets going. And you can tell when he's on the floor during the playoffs, he wants it. He wants his first ring. And truthfully, I absolutely, of course, hope he gets it. And I really hope it's with this team right here that I rock with. But you can't mention or cannot forget to mention guys like Tyler Hero, who have absolutely established themselves as not only a sixth man of the year as he was last season, but he is also a freak in terms of the way that he scores and the way that he can get threes. He can get hot. So Tyler Hero is lights out. I was on board with the whole trading him at first. I will admit, I cannot tell a lie, but Tyler Hero has proven himself to be here. I want him here. He is sincerely the offensive machine that this Heat team needs to survive sometimes. He has gotten us out of a lot of holes. He's got a shovel big enough to do it. The guy's got 20.1 points per game to go with 5.4 boards. So coming from a point guard, I'm always impressed when you can average that kind of rebounds. So impressed to see him, but you cannot forget to mention my defensive player of the year, even though he's taken a step back in that aspect for me. But guys like Bam Adebayo are also the reason why we are the 8th seed with 20.4 points to go with 9.2 rebounds. He also shot 54%. That was his field goal percentage in the regular season. He also had 1.2 steals, so he can also help you out on defensive end. But he was definitely vital and critical to our win against the Bulls. He only had 8 points but managed 17 rebounds. So I expect more of that from Bam, but I expect higher offense. I hope that he can get past guys like Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez and create opportunities to score. But if not, look for guys like Butler to draw fouls the way that he does. You have people like Max Strus who are, without him, I do not believe that he'd take down the Bulls the way that they did. The man had 31 points, shot 50%. So he was lights out. He was everything we needed and more. He stepped up when we needed him to. I would look for him in those kinds of moments in this series. Whether or not it matches up with the people that Milwaukee have on the court, it's up to them. But Strus will definitely provide that spark when we need him. But Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent, both were game time decisions, both absolutely playing in this game. I've seen when they're on the floor, they are the quarterbacks of the team. They can provide that spark as well. They can find the open man. The way that Kyle Lowry can find Jimmy and Tyler to create offense is impressive for me. So look for more of that. Gabe Vincent, the way that he gets open at the three and he can create shots and he can also take it to the rim. He's not scared to draw the fouls. None of this entire team is not scared to draw fouls, basically. But look for guys like Victor Oladipo to make a statement in the playoffs. I know Victor Oladipo is also chasing that ring, and he averages 1.4 steals to go with 10.7 points. So he can give you a little bit of that too when Jimmy needs a rest. But if we know Jimmy Butler the way that we know Jimmy Butler, he does not like to rest. So we'll see that. But look for him to draw those fouls because they will be coming. Because as we know, the Heat in the regular season were second in free throw percentage. So not only did they get to the line, when they got to the line, more times than not, they scored. So shooting at 83.1% from the free throw line is definitely something that we're going to need here. More so in the away games because you can't let the fan base get to you. But we do know the Heat, when the Casilla Center will host games 3 and 4, will be welcomed with open arms by the Heat fans, and we will give them that same Miami energy that gives them that spark to give them the runs that we do not expect them to make sometimes. And as we know, I won't count the Heat out. So with that being said, my series prediction, give me the Heat in 7 games. Yes, I am not playing with you guys. I think the Heat, Giannis, this Heat team is gritty. They were counted out as soon as they got that 8th seed. They said Milwaukee was the big 3 team in the East. Milwaukee had their tickets punched to the finals, I'm sure. But the Heat definitely now at halftime up by, that is 13 points, ladies and gentlemen. The Heat up 13 at the half on the Milwaukee Bucks. So what do you have to say about that? Can I get a little more noise for that, please? Please, thank you. Thank you. I know the Heat appreciate that. I appreciate that. So my prediction, the Heat in 7. This team is gritty. This team is, they are the kennel. They host. They are some dogs when they need to be. Jimmy Butler is absolutely undeniable. I think Jimmy's going to be the one to end this reign of terror that Milwaukee seems to be on in, as far as the Western Conference is concerned. But look for guys like Jimmy. Look for Bam to step up when times are rough for us and no other guy seems to get the offense going. He's going to be the one to get it done. Look for guys like Kyle Lowry to be the quarterback that we need, to get guys like Strus the ball, get guys like Bam the ball, and Jimmy. Look for Bam to absolutely run the paint and to crash the boards every single time. He needs to be a rebounding machine in order for us to get past Milwaukee, I will say that. But this team is led by Jimmy Butler, and in him I trust. Give me that take. My Heat in 7. So mark that down, because when it happens, we're going to circle back to this moment, and I'm going to have something to say about that. So give me the boys. Give me the boys in 7, please. And just to recap now, here is your playoff bracket. Congrats go to the Sixers, the Celtics, the Knicks, and of course, those damn Sacramento Kings who just can't seem to stop winning. As they were all victorious, they all lead their series 1-0, so congratulations to them. As I mentioned earlier today, we saw the Los Angeles Lakers take game 1 of their series. The Heat right now up 12 with 8 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. So good luck to them, as they are the second of 2 more games to go tonight. Very excited to see how the rest of this plays out. I hope you enjoyed my special 2-part episode of Hustle N Harmoniez. Yes, it was episode number 4, but I had to break it down for you one time. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed and support the boys. And as I will update you now with an injury report, Tyler Hero went down with a broken hand that is being reported. So he is out of the Heat lineup for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that shapes up. Still confident in my boys. I'm going to give them Heat in 7 in this series. But until the next time, peace to the next episode.